All right, in this next step, we're going to bulk up our little armature here, mostly just around the body and a little bit on the wings. Now you can use any kind of paper. I just grabbed some stuff that we had, an old Menards catalog, and you can use really any kind of tape. You just don't want to use too much of it. And actually, the kind of tape that I'm going to use, electrical tape and the Scotch tape, these aren't great tapes to use. I would actually recommend more of like that opaque manila colored tape. It's like a Scotch tape and things like that. This clear tape, it's harder for the air dry clay to stick to it, but it will still work. All we're going to do is tear up some paper, crumple it on here, and lightly tape it there. Now on these wings, we're going to wrap it in a thin coat of paper and tape it on so it holds. It just needs a little bit of bulk before you put the clay on there. And that's it. Covered our armature with the paper. Now we can take some of our air dry clay, roll it out into thin slabs, and cover our project. Pretty simple step. You're going to use the larger amount of clay. So in your sculpture bags, you have 2 things of clay. You have a smaller amount, and then you have a larger amount. And you'll probably only need about half of this larger amount. So you can just break that off and start to make your awesome clay sculpture. Now I'd also make sure that you work on top of one of these mats. You'll either have some gray paper in your bag, or you'll have like a canvas mat that you can work on top of. To apply the clay in some of these larger areas, flatten it out into a small slab. If you have something like a water bottle, you can use that to kind of roll it out. For the legs, since it's such a thin piece of wire, just go ahead and take your clay and roll it into a coil, or like a snake, and then just push it on right around that wire. And the wire is going to hold that in place, like so. All right, so at this point I have completely covered everything with clay. Before you move on to the part where you start to do your details, you're going to want to take some time and press all the seams and smooth out all the cracks before you begin on your details. Now this should only take, about 10 minutes to smooth it all down and get it ready to put some texture and details on it. Once you have smoothed out all the detail, or all the areas in here and all the cracks, and get it looking nice and ready for details and texture, You may find that it's a little heavy in spots. So if I try and stand it up in its pose, I notice that its legs buckle under the weight. Same thing with the wings. Now I can try to adjust the pose a little bit with the wire because it's going to be flexible with that wire. The other thing I can do is create a pillow using some extra paper. It's exactly as easy as it sounds. We just crumple the paper up and then put it underneath where we want to support the weight. Now, as this project dries, it'll harden and it'll be able to support its own weight in no time. But as it's drying, if you want to keep it from collapsing, just make a little pillow, put it under there, and it will support the weight nicely.